I think every angler that fishes is constantly checking weather. Whether it's the day of, it's the day they're going to be planning on going fishing. Looking at the week ahead, which days are going to be calm offshore. And I'm no different. One of the things I always do, whether I'm at work, at home, usually every couple of hours, I'm looking at the forecast for the week ahead. And a lot of people ask me, what do I trust? What do I know? And I'm just going to kind of run down a few of my favorite sites and what I'm looking at. So in real time, one of the best radars I think is BayNews9.com if you're in the Tampa Bay area. The interactive map they have lets you kind of move around. You can zoom in quite a bit, seeing, if you're going to be fishing a very specific spot, what are the chances that it's going to be raining there in 20 minutes, in an hour. Very helpful, especially in the summertime when you get, those storms coming from east to west. And, a couple miles makes a big difference. So zooming in allows that. Another thing that they allow is storm direction. So in the summertime, if you have storms coming across the state like this, maybe you're fishing South Sarasota Bay. There's a storm here, but it's going this direction, so you might be clear for a bit. These storms are not necessarily moving northeast with the entire front coming this way, but each individual cell is. That's kind of why you see these longer arrows that way. Another thing on here that they allow you to do is you can switch up your radar look. The band radar is a little longer term. If you saw the Klystron 9.1, that was only about 15 minutes. The band gives you a little longer look at it. So see, Klystron 9 is a little more up to date, a little more up to the minute. Future radar, if you're wondering what it might be like in a couple hours. So today it looks like those storms will be through Tampa Bay area about 5-ish. So if you want to go out after the rain, if there's weather coming, something to look at. They also do national radar, which is much longer term. It's not quite as detailed. Let's get rid of the storm direction. Speed this up a little bit. And so you can get a national look at kind of what's happening. So if you're planning a day before, a day after, and you see this weather front coming from Louisiana, which yesterday this looked like that over here. Maybe you want to try to see what time in the future radar it's going to be raining. Fox 13, same thing. This is a pretty detailed radar, which I like. Can't quite move it around as much, but you can see some detail, some smaller storms in there coming up. And then for another national radar I like is AccuWeather. Same thing, allows you to zoom in, get quite a bit of detail, and you can see if you want, go around the entire country, which is always fun to kind of look at. April snow in Michigan and Wisconsin is pretty crazy. So when I'm looking at the future, one of the sites I trust the most is SailFlow. It's just sailflow.com. I'll leave links down in the description. And sailflow.com allows you to really look at, hour by hour, day by day weather. So say if you're click the station in Tampa Bay, you can go to the forecast, and it breaks it down. So earlier in the morning, 12 to 35 mile an hour winds, real gusty. And then they predict that rain's going to start about 4 p.m. here, last for about 3 hours. And so you can see, give you a little bit of everything. Temperature, sustained winds, gusty winds, and then seas as well. So wave heights, 2 to 3 feet in Tampa Bay. Pretty rough. South wind to start, switching to a west as that front comes through. And then tomorrow, Monday, northwest, real breezy, strong. Now down here is your forecast for the week. So Tuesday, starts to get a little better in Tampa Bay. Wednesday, now we're talking, light winds, beautiful day, 76 for a high, 76, 77 in the Bay, a little cool in the morning, 63, 62. Thursday, even calmer, less than 5 mile an hour winds, little sea breeze in the afternoon. And so SailFlow breaks it down by hour, letting you know exactly what time wind might pick up and where. Real helpful in the summertime when you might be heading offshore to one of these spots and it's going to be calm in the morning, but is there going to be a sea breeze kicking in the afternoon if you're, say, 20 miles out? There's stations all up and down here for it. So if you're planning on heading out this week, maybe Wednesday it'll be good. You still have a little lingering, waves of 2 foot in the morning, becoming 1 in the afternoon. But then Thursday, I mean, that's about as good for a forecast as you can get. So less than 1 foot seas, no seas right there. Sea breeze in the afternoon. So typical forecast. And then looking ahead to next weekend, return of another southeast wind could mean more weather approaching. They have a little bit of a rain chance, late. But Saturday, real calm. Or no, I'm sorry, not real calm, but real clear, sunny skies, all that good stuff. Other things SailFlow does as well. Actually, let me go back to the observations. So these are real-time observations, what the wind is. So south at 28, south at 18. There's stations pretty much everywhere, and you can go overseas, foreign, wherever you want, across the Gulf, looking at where the winds are. So if I zoom out a little bit, one thing I might be looking at is, where's the front? So you can tell south wind. So the front's right in here. You have the northwest behind it, south ahead of it. So that's kind of the observations, you're seeing right now. In the summertime, if you see stronger east winds in Florida, then most likely the summertime storms are going to be pushing west. If you have middle of the state winds that are, westward, a lot of times those storms will be pushing east. So on the west coast of Florida, you might be clear. You might not going to get afternoon showers if the storms are pushing east with a little bit stronger sea breeze, west wind. So that's kind of things to look at. They also have the National Weather Service marine forecast, which honestly I don't like because it's very broad. A lot of people still use them just to get an overview of weather. So this afternoon, south winds 20 to 25, becoming southwest in the afternoon, seas 4 to 6. Honestly, I think it's a lot rougher than that out there, and they don't break it down for you when's it going to pick up, when's the wind direction going to switch. If you're looking at the detailed forecast, it's going to be coming around to the west and then the northwest. This just gives you a basic outline. But even then, week ahead, north winds 5 knots on Thursday, Wednesday, east wind 5 knots. Those look like the good days to fish. If everybody's in agreement, that's when you're good to go. And then the forecast map, usually what I'm going to do here, this will show you winds for you can do a week's worth. It takes a little bit to load, but you can see when it's going to be windy. So if you've got winds out in the western Gulf from the west pushing this way, you can check some of these forecast stations out here. And then as everything comes east, winds are going to be clearing up. So this gives you a look at the entire Gulf forecast. So what I see here is Thursday, the day that looks real calm. It looks like it's going to be real calm for us. But then you got a little bit west wind, a little bit south. So if you're heading out of Tampa Bay, we're probably, sitting right in a high right here with the winds coming around. So going to be a beautiful day here. If you see, 20, 30 mile an hour winds from the west this way, you might get some swells as you're heading out. Just kind of things to keep track of. So play it through, and then maybe we can see what's going to happen this weekend when we get that southeast wind. So it looks like, get to the end here. So what it looks like is there might be a front right about here. So that's why we're going to get that south wind. Because you got the north here, south here, north. So there's going to be a front probably, Mississippi, Louisiana, northern, heading into next weekend. So that's kind of things you can check out. They also have radars. I don't, think this one's nearly as detailed as other ones. But if you want to, use one site for all, then you can do here. And if we go back to the observations, the stations themselves offer more. So we go to the Skyway, you can do your forecast, and then you have more stuff. If you upgrade your account, they give you more details there. Graph will show you, actually, gold is the ones that are paid if you want to get more details. So graph for the middle of Tampa Bay, you can go back a little bit and you can see just what the winds were. So right now it's 20 to 30, which is blowing pretty good. At 10 a.m. it was blowing about 20 from the south. There's your direction up there. So it'll give you a little bit more detail. Real key thing on the National Data Buoy Center page is these offshore stations. They will tell you real time what weather is like. So Egmont Channel has a buoy. So if you're running out of Tampa Bay, you don't necessarily know what the weather's like until you get out there, right? Well, no, not exactly true. These stations, a lot of them now have wave heights that are reporting every 30 minutes to let you know what the conditions are actually like. So there's a southwest, fairly big, swell, a lot of chop, 6-foot seas. It's kind of been shifting around. So you had south yesterday was 2 to 3, so not terrible, not great. But today you can see the wind picking up, so 5 and now 6-foot seas. If you're going to be running out, this station does not have wave height, and this one does. Kind of learn this as you use them more often. So 6-foot seas, pretty much right in the middle of where the storms are right now. See if this one has wind. So this one does have wind. So it's blowing 20 to 30 in the middle of this at the moment. So you can kind of see what's coming your way if you're looking to the future. There's a couple more buoys if you're looking. The middle ground's buoy's down right now. Red means hey, this buoy's not working. This is always a fun one because it tends to read some real big seas. It's actually down right now because it's so rough. You get above some real rough seas. Last readings it was 8 feet, 8.5, 7s. So it's not a fan of the real big seas, and this will tell you the steepness of the wave. So steep, you're running into basically chop offshore, and it's not a whole lot of fun. If it's swelly and it's 3 foot, a lot of boats can handle that, but steep 3 foot, not so much. There are pictures on some of these too, so you can see real time, what's being in. So 360 degree look. Fun thing to look at too when hurricanes are rolling around. It doesn't look in pictures nearly as rough as it is, but pretty cool to be able to see this. Technology is improving, and I would love to see buoys just all over the Gulf with these real-time weather conditions. And then you can always check and see. And all the time I see people saying it was ridiculously rough out, 6 foot, 8 foot seas, and then I come in here and it's 2 to 3, and I'm like, what were you fishing where these, all these buoys are? Because they typically don't lie. So if you want real-time conditions, check back, see what the actual weather was before throwing numbers out there thinking it's a lot rougher than it actually was. You can see what the buoys are. They don't lie. They're very accurate, and they will tell you, real-time conditions. And, you got water temp. You got all this data here. So I will leave that in the description below as well, so people can kind of keep track of what there is out there. Then one other site people mention a lot is Windfinder. Very similar to Sailflow in terms of the data they give you. I just think Sailflow is a little easier to navigate through because you can jump from station to station easier, unless I'm missing something. But so we can go to Egmont. We can go to the forecast. Right now it's real time. They do give you quite a bit of information south of 25, 73 degrees. But if you look, Windfinder's in agreement. Wednesday, Thursday are going to be the calm days. When all the models are in agreement, that's the ideal time to fish. So skipping the Thursday, looks like a beautiful day. Sea breeze in the afternoon. They don't break it down quite by hour. It's every 3 hours, but still giving you a lot of details and information, which you can use to make your own call. So if I was planning a trip for the week ahead, I'm looking for Thursday. I'm giving the current seas, it's 6 to 8 feet. And then tomorrow with the northwest wind, still going to be that strong. Maybe, Tuesday it calms down. Wednesday's pretty nice. But then when Wednesday's calm and Thursday's calm, it's going to be the slick day this Thursday. They have less than a foot seas here. Very similar to Sailflow with their forecast, 1 to 2, maybe from the northwest, which could make it a little rough running into it on Wednesday. And then Sailflow has apps as well. The big one I use is Wind Alert, which will give you all the same data. So look on your mobile device, iPhone, Android, for Wind Alert. Has a lot of that same information. Very easy to navigate. And then for the radar, I use My Radar. So when I'm out, I can zoom in, see where storms are. All this data is available on mobile, and then I bookmark these buoys on my phone just in my browser, so I'm able to see real time. If I'm thinking I'm in the bay and, what do I want to go peek out and see what it's like offshore, then I can look it up real time. So, just things to think about when you're fishing, when you're planning on fishing. Keep track of weather stations, weather buoys, weather predictions. Don't just look at, models ahead. Look at what's happening real time. Use kind of your own judgment. Look for all the models to be in agreement, and those are the days you want to go fishing.